the new Western California, Hawaii, Colorado burger. Only at the 8-Hole.
Live from somewhere you're not, it's KPBC News. With your lead anchor, Anchor Cat. Greetings, I'm Anchor Cat, and these are the stories our team wants you to know about. In our first story, reporter Polly Birdman filed a report from Hot Springs, Wisconsin. There, a local woman is making quite a name for herself simply by not accepting an award. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Paul, what's the scoop here? Anchor Cat here in Hot Springs. Local resident Kristen McGee was awarded the Most Stubborn Person of the Year award by her town. Some of the folks I spoke to around Hot Springs tell me it's been a tradition for years to nominate and elect the most stubborn resident, and the winner is given a prize and a dinner in their honor. Sounds like a fun tradition. So what's the issue then? Well, Anchor Cat, Ms. McGee refuses to accept the award. Oh? Why's that? She claims she's not stubborn. She's been shown evidence by many of her friends and family, but Ms. McGee just will not move on from her position that she is not only not the most stubborn person in Hot Springs, but that she's not even stubborn to begin with. Were you able to speak to McGee about her feelings on this? Unfortunately, no. She won't let anyone interview her about it, no matter what. Even when we offered to let her tell her side of the story, she just will not budge. She doesn't think she's stubborn, and you can't change her mind about it. From Hot Springs, Wisconsin, this is Polly Birdman. Back to you, Anchor Cat. Next, let's check in with Chris Cheesepants with the morning traffic report. Chris, how are the highways and byways looking this morning?
Anchor Cat, it's already been quite a horrific morning on the freeways. Commuters on I-69 are facing enormous delays after a tractor trailer crashed, jackknifed, and ripped open a hole in the space-time continuum. Viewers on our tip line are telling us that as we speak, dinosaurs are pouring into our own timeline through that very rip.
Gosh, it seems like it might be a good morning to take your bike into work, or maybe even public transportation.
That's right, Anchor Cat.
We'll check back in with you later for the next traffic report, Chris. Thanks so much. And now let's take you all out to the nation's capital. There, reporter Skip Tumalou filed this report for us.
Hi, yes, that's right, AC. Something rather unusual has been happening here in the nation's capital over the past week. I've spoken to a few of my colleagues who work for other outlets, and they've noticed the same thing. Anytime someone condemns anti-Semitism or white supremacy, within 30 seconds a cloud of smoke appears, and when it dissipates, Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene are standing in front of you, calling you a, quote, reverse racist and, quote, anti-Christian. Sometimes they tell you that you hate Republicans, but it's a similar theme every time. Condemn Nazis, and all of a sudden Green or Boebert are defending pro-MAGA Americans.
So, every time someone says, for instance, Nazis are bad and we should tell Nazis off, you're saying that Green or Boebert claim that's really trying to cancel Republicans?
Yes, that's right, AC. To them, as soon as you criticize Nazis, you're making fun of them.
What are some of the insiders saying that's all about, Skip?
That if it looks like a Nazi, talks like a Nazi, can't spell single-syllable words, and has more toes than IQ points, it's probably a Nazi, and pro-MAGA.
Thanks for getting us these details, Skip. Keep us posted if you continue to summon Republicans simply by mentioning how bad Nazis are. Let's take a quick station break and be right back with more news.
Worried you're going to ruin date night with uncontrollable farting? You wouldn't be if you've seen a doctor that had prescribed a preventative butt plug. But not every insurance network covers preventative butt plug prescriptions, do they? We do. We cover preventative butt plug prescriptions. In fact, that's literally all we cover. Because we're ASFLAG, the supplemental preventative butt plug coverage you've been waiting for. Call, email, fax, carrier pigeon, or Unicorn Express us a message today. And let ASFLAG start giving you and your dates and the couple sharing tiramisu one table over the peace of mind you all deserve. ASFLAG, the official supplemental preventative butt plug insurance.
Think you've got what it takes to tell the difference between your cult and the cult your friend or neighbor is in? Then don't miss everyone's favorite new game show, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. My Cult or Yours?
Let's check back in with Chris Cheesepants over at the traffic desk. Chris, how's that rip in the space-time continuum looking? Have cleanup crews gotten it moved over to the shoulder yet?
Well, I don't really know how to tell you this, Anchor Cat, but apparently our new traffic desk intern might have gone out partying last night and come into work this morning still under the influence of the cocktail of party drugs he took. And he hallucinated all of that. But we can confirm that viewers have told us, in fact, a truck carrying fossilized remains did crash on I-69 this morning. However, Senators Chuck Grassley and Dianne Feinstein are recovering just fine, though they are considering whether or not they want to spend their summers on display at the Natural History Museum.
Thanks for the update, Chris. Now let's talk to our friend Gil Fishman with the Hollywood Minute. Take it away, Gil.
Anchor Cat, we're entering another week with both the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild of America striking for better shares of the streaming revenues their shows and movies produce, as well as other concessions. I spoke to Chad Beefington, one Hollywood executive, who told me if this goes on much longer, his studio may consider using artificial intelligence for both script writing and acting.
Look, Gil, baby, if there's one thing we Hollywood executives understand, it's what makes good art. Oh wait, no, excuse me. It's what makes good art risky and oftentimes unprofitable. Now, I personally think we could spin up an AI algorithm that would give us a movie just as good as The Godfather or maybe even Star Wars, but quite frankly, we have regurgitated the same 6 movies for the last 120 years. So I often tell my other fellow Hollywood bigwigs, why don't we just take those old scripts, feed them into the computers, and see what it gives us? I mean, frankly, no matter what, it will still be cheaper than paying a human writer with human feelings and emotions to create a story that resonates with other human beings. And frankly, if you saw the same revenue projections I saw, you'd agree with me.
Mr. Beefington told me that his studio has already made great strides in injecting AI into their films. Just last year, he says that they used artificial intelligence to replace actor Gina Carano with a digitally created actor, though he admitted that it was helpful that no one really considers Carano an actor to begin with, so the bar for her AI replacement was incredibly low. Back to you, Anchor Cat.
Thanks so much, Gil. Let's head out to Orlando, Florida, where reporter Bert Thompson tells us that Disney may be trying to extend an olive branch to a certain diminutive proto-fascist governor and presidential hopeful. Bert. That's right, Anchor Cat. Sources we spoke to in the Walt Disney Company are telling us that at a recent board meeting, it was decided they should attempt to make peace with DeSantis before he orders Florida's National Guard to resegregate It's a Small World after all. Disney execs also, however, did not want to risk angering the largely progressive coalition of Americans who make up a substantial portion of their customer base. The decision was made to put Governor DeSantis in the Hall of Never Will Be President in their lifetimes. It will be a special section of the original Hall of Presidents and will contain animatronic versions of people like Hillary Clinton, Rand and Ron Paul, and Ted Cruz, though Cruz's animatronic is shared with the Dumb Fucks of the Bible Belt attraction 4 months out of the year, when Pirates of the Caribbean is converted to the version featuring Cruz, Clay Higgins, and Chip Roy. According to our Disney source, it was an easy decision to make because not a lot of time or money would need to be spent since Imagineers were able to determine which of DeSantis's already existent animatronic hardware and software could be reused. DeSantis should be joining the Hall of Never Will Be President in their lifetimes by the end of next year, depending on any future Republican insurrection efforts, which could delay proceedings. From Orlando, I'm Bert Thompson. Back to you, Anchor Cat. We'll be right back.
Hey, we've all been there, having a great time at a local watering hole, enjoying a cocktail, and perhaps listening to a local live band butcher a cover of a Sublime song, or a drunk Karen scream singing the most horrendous version of Butterfly you've heard since the first time you heard Crazy Town's original version. You probably found yourself wishing there was a way to drown that horrific crap out so you could focus on getting more drunk like you came to this bar to do. Well, we can't help you with that, but if you just listened to us in the first place, you wouldn't be there living a sinful life like the sinful little demon worshiper you are. So enjoy being deaf the rest of your life, sinner. Next time, join our cult instead. Paid for by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Judgmental Weirdos in Creepy Underwear.
Every day, who knows how many Americans find themselves stranded because their GPS went rogue, deliberately led them into an unfamiliar neighborhood, and then threatened to have incriminating photos of themselves trying to have sexual relations with their automobile's tailpipe emailed to the local newspaper. It's a story we're all familiar with, yet when it happens to one of us, we get stares and judgmental looks from coworkers, colleagues, relatives, and children. It's something that can ruin anyone's life, and is definitely not a very specific thing that only happened to one particular CEO of a particular insurance company. Anyone's life, that is, except yours. Because you called Liberty Mutual Insurance and took out one of our best in the industry, GPS goes rogue and tries to extort you for sexually assaulting it policies. It's the best because we're the only insurance company who knows it's not your fault you got a little too drunk and tried to bone your car. And even if it is, disgusting perverts have money to spend on insurance policies too. And our profit margins do not discriminate against disgusting perverts. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on Newsmax today saying how she's got evidence that Joe Biden is part of a family crime syndicate, and I completely believe her, fam. For two reasons. First of all, my lobotomy was a success, and for second of all, my lobotomy removed the part of my brain that lets me recognize when someone gets accused of something that is totally true about Donald Trump.
Okay, cool. So are you done with the gas pump, Dan? Because I'd like to fill my tank so I can get out of here and never talk to you again.
Oops, my mistake. I'll be late for harassing LGBTQ students at the local high school if I don't get a move on, so I'll see you later. Welcome back. In our next story, the chair of the Republican Party said on Fox News this morning that she's quite excited, despite what media reports say, about a potential showdown between Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for her party's 2024 presidential nomination. However, as much as she said she thinks the country and the Republicans will benefit from a slug-a-thon between the former president and the former youth go-go boot model, Ronna Romney McDaniel said she's most excited about the undercard, which would feature cancer squaring off against AIDS for the vice presidential spot. Though some think if Marjorie Taylor Greene is tapped by Trump, she could potentially represent both of those interests quite easily. We'll follow that story and bring you the scoop straight out of the nation's capital this weekend, only on Blatherbox, our hour-long political roundtable show. Well, it's time for our weekly editorial from The Actual Jesus.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's the actual Jesus here again. You know, the guy from the Bible, not the megachurch up the street, currently trying to hijack your school board. Ooh, that's actually the perfect segue into what I want to talk to you about this week. Though, I mean, as the literal Son of God, kind of everything I do is perfect anyway, but, well, you get my drift, and nobody likes a know-it-all Christian, so let's just move forward, shall we? Anywho, about those megachurches taking over your school boards. You know, the thing is, it really does dovetail nicely with that whole concept of everything I do being perfect. Much to the chagrin of some folks, if everything I do is perfect, and everything my dad made is perfect, wouldn't that therefore mean that all my trans little children are perfect? Well, they are. They're perfect. I love them just the way they are. Ooh, in fact, you know what? My friend Fred Rogers, he wanted me to let you all know that the last time we were playing poker. Personally, I love all my trans little children, and I don't recall writing down anything or giving any sermons about erasing them from existence or treating them like garbage, but some chuds in red hats down on Earth are under the impression that apparently that's exactly what I wanted them to do, and now they've hijacked school boards and are doing religious inquisitions on teachers that support trans kids, and even institutionalizing the bullying of my trans little children. Oh, apparently I'm being given the sign to wrap it up because, as we all know, being the literal Son of God comes second to selling commercial time for anti-diarrhea products. So let me just sum it up really quickly, okay? While they were all at church last week, I looked into their browser histories, and let's just say that the FBI got a bunch of anonymous tips from an area code 777 number. Until next time.
You can catch Jesus' Cable Ace winning cooking show, Cross My Heart, This is Sacrilicious, every Sunday at 5:30 a.m., right here on KPBC. Now we're headed over to the weather desk with Austin Sleet. Austin, someone told me that this year we may not see El Nino, but that we might get hit with a different weather phenomenon that is quite concerning for municipalities trying to plan for what is considered an average weather pattern.
Oh yeah? Where'd you hear about that, Anchor Cat?
I think it was Meteorologist Monthly. Is there a better periodical I should subscribe to, in your expert opinion?
Well, no. That's a fine publication, Anchor Cat. I've just recently been reading this new one called, How Climate Change Will Impact the Relationship Your Ex-Girlfriend Has with Her New Boyfriend Who Actually Knows How to Find Her...
Oh gosh, Austin, I'm sorry, but I have to interrupt you because we're getting some breaking news. It is with a heavy heart that I can confirm for you all now that Senator Ted Cruz has died. The Canadian-born Texan Christo-fascist sentient cumbubble was 52 years old and leaves behind an ugly wife and 2 children. Oh, I'm sorry, folks, but I have to interrupt myself because we have even more breaking news. We take you out live now to a DC area outhouse where a press conference is being held.
Folks, I am Deputy Lieutenant Henry Edward Pankey, and I can confirm for you now that Senator Ted Cruz is at home, resting comfortably, and was never in any real danger. Apparently, someone using this porta potty recently shot something out of their body that had the same relative shape, smell, and most importantly, intellect of Senator Cruz. And so it was presumed when the next person came in to use it that they had found Senator Cruz inside waiting for them. Reports that Senator Cruz was dead came from this erroneous observation. This porta potty will be destroyed so that nobody is ever reminded of Ted Cruz again when using it, because that is a time when shit should be exiting your body, not staying trapped in your mind.
Well, there you have it, folks. The sad news is that Senator Ted Cruz is alive and well, and just as much the piece of shit he's always been, and always will be. Now let's show you a portion of our interview with Scott Scallion, winner of last week's $10 Powerball lottery, drawn just a week after the $1.6 trillion record-setting jackpot was won by his estranged brother Paul.
It sucks. It pretty much sucks.
We'll have the rest of our interview with Scott in our 9 o'clock broadcast. Let's step aside for a minute and be right back. Hi kids, it's me, your old pal Fred, and I just want to tell you something really quickly. When bullies and fascists boycott public spaces, that's a good thing. Why? For the same reasons that when you flush the toilet after you go poop, there's no more poop in the toilet. That's why. Well, I've got to go now, kids. I'll see you next time. Welcome, you little piece of shit, to our brand new Mexican-ish fast food chain, El Culero, from the kick-ass people who brought you the A-Hole, your goddamned favorite burger chain in the known and unknown universe. So the next time you're craving a salt and beef blast smothered in our fiery habanero jalapeno chipotle whatever sauce, get your embarrassingly white ass into El Culero and order the new chili cheese mucho mayor burrito. Or don't and miss out on it, just like you missed out on investing in Uber when it was just a little tiny tech startup. You utterly contemptible, incompetent moron. El Culero. Cállate y come.
Welcome back to
Popping it up.
Hi everyone, it's Stupid Monster with your stupid phrase of the day. Today's stupid phrase is, don't tread on me. Today's stupid phrase is stupid mainly because everyone who says it actually really loves to be tread on, as long as it's someone in a thin blue line shirt or a dude who doesn't pay income taxes standing in front of a church congregation telling them how to live.
Next, we're headed out to Girth Falls, Iowa. There, one of the last standing brick-and-mortar adult movie theater owners is making headlines because he's made some business decisions of late that have angered some of his loyal customers. Reporter Burgess DeVito has the story for us. For the last 30 years, anyone who patronized the Spankalodian here in Girth Falls knew 2 things about their experience. 1, that shows starting before 5 p.m. would be buy one, get one on all concessions and cleanup products. And 2, that every adult film would be shown on 35mm film, as they had been shot sometimes up to 60 years ago, when most of the women seen in them, who are now probably multiple people's grandmas, likely couldn't deposit their paychecks from the film they shot into accounts they opened, all without a man co-signing for them. But last week, owner Kevin Crescentroll announced that starting this summer, the Spankalodian would be going digital. Mr. Crescentroll told me earlier today it's just a matter of economics at this point.
That's right, Burgess. It really is just becoming too expensive to maintain all these old analog machines. I understand I have a unique and loyal customer base who enjoy adult films the way they were watching them in the 70s and 80s, but look, if they want me to stay open, they have to accept the times and move on. So yeah, I went digital, which I understand upsets some of my customers because they don't want to go digital when they're doing themselves digitally.
I spoke to Tommy Wrinkleshaft, who says he's been coming to and at the Spankalodian since he was 18 years old, about his feelings on Mr. Crescent Roll's decision.
Hey, I understand there's an economics argument being made. I don't begrudge Kevin what he needs to do to keep the lights on in his business. It's just, some of us feel like we're losing connections to our past more and more every day, and this is one of those things. Like, I don't watch pornographic films on my smartphone. I don't even watch them on my televisionary system here at home. I only watch them in one place, a luxury cinema house dedicated, designed for the finer points of public masturbation. And, call me a sentimental fool if you will, but something just feels different when I know it's not a machine beaming visions of penetrational joy into all five senses. And maybe that's fine for some people, but for me, I nut way harder when I know it's on film and not a download.
Mr. Wrinkleshaft told me that what angers him even more about the decision to convert the Spankalodian to a digital movie theater is that Mr. Crescent Roll has decided to stop putting junior mints in the freezer prior to selling them. This really is quite a microcosm of the economy at large, isn't it? From Girth Falls, Iowa, this is Burgess DeVito, sending it back to you in the studio, Anchor Cat. Thanks, Burgess. Keep tabs on what transpires there over the next few weeks and get back to us. And that will be our last story of this broadcast. As always, we hope you enjoy what's left of your day and your one short mortal life on this earth. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Come on down to Jumbo's Shrimporium every Tuesday for all-you-can-eat breadsticks and salad bar. And don't forget our award-winning shrimp po' boys. You can definitely ignore any rumors you might have heard that Jumbo's Shrimporium actually uses dead skunk meat instead of shrimp, because that's just silly talk. The fact that we also own a skunk farm is so irrelevant to this discussion that it makes me laugh. Ha, ha, ha. See how sincere my laugh was? That means you can trust me when I tell you we totally use shrimp at Jumbo Shrimporium and not dead skunk meat.
¡Ay! Bienvenido, pedacito de mierda, a nuestro nuevo estilo mexicano, cadena de comida rápida. El culero de la gente increíble que te trajo el Ajol, tu maldito favorita cadena de hamburguesas en el conocido y desconocido universo. Así que la próxima vez que te estés deseando una explosión de sal y carne asfixiada a nuestro fogoso habanero, jalapeño, chipotle, cualquier salsa, consigue tu culo vergonzosamente blanco en el culero y pide lo nuevo. Chili burrito de queso mucho mayor. O no lo hagas y te lo pierdas, como te perdiste invertir en Uber cuando era tan solo una tecnología startup absolutamente despreciable, imbécil. El culero. Cállate. Come.